她每次想念已故的男友，就会给男友生前使用的号码发去短信。可这天，沉寂了许久的号码被运营商重新启用，一个陌生人收到了她的思念。起初，男人以为发错了，并没有放在心上。然而第二天清晨，他又收到了同样的短信，字里行间依旧是藏不住的爱意与怅惘。尼克还是没太在意，不料上班时，手机像设定好的闹钟般频频震动，一条又一条带着温度的文字涌入屏幕，竟让尼克产生一丝奇妙共鸣。因为就在1周前，未婚妻在结婚前选择了分手，并且迅速和别人开启了新的恋情。他可以做到5年的感情说不要就不要，但尼克却被困在回忆里，而短信里那些细碎的惦念，竟与他内心翻涌的思念完美重叠。渐渐的，尼克开始期待这样的短信，就连在采访著名歌星席琳迪翁时，收到信息他也会第一时间查看。
Tell me about it.
What was that?
Nothing. So just sort of responding to a text.
Oh, cool. Feel free to talk with friends if I'm boring you.
No. It wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a friend.
殊不知，安妮也深陷在这样的执念里无法自拔。2年前，她的男友正准备求婚时，一场突如其来的车祸却将所有的憧憬碾得粉碎。从那天起，安妮就像被按下了暂停键，永远困在了那个充满期待的过去。她总爱穿着男友生前常穿的外套，布料上残留的淡淡气息能让她获得片刻心安。求婚戒指依旧闪亮，套在手上尺寸刚好合适。
I don't know, feels a little unhealthy, maybe? I mean, what's wrong with it? I'm just wearing my dead boyfriend's shirt and the engagement ring he never got to give me.
安妮也知道这样不对，但她就是忘不了心中的那道身影。为了帮姐姐走出困境，妹妹擅自替她注册了约会网站，还主动替她找寻性感猛男。可安妮却没有要开启新恋情的打算。
What? No. I didn't tell you to swipe.
Wait, stop. It's a match on your first one. Who can argue?
对方约安妮明晚一起共进晚餐，或许不想辜负妹妹的好心好意，亦或是想打破僵局，安妮终究还是答应了下来，同时也将这件事发送给男友。
Guess who's going to that awful hipster bar Ronde tonight?Please don't judge. I already feel so guilty. And I'm definitely not ready, but I guess if I don't force myself, I'll never be.
You know, that is a great bar. I know that. That's a good pickup spot.
I'm going.
尼克当即决定出发去寻找这个陌生人。死党和同事都觉得他疯了，毕竟他连对方是男是女，是老是幼都不知道。但尼克却异常的坚定，最终放心不下的死党还是陪同尼克一起来到约会的地点。他们四处打量，每个捧着手机的人都成了重点怀疑对象。然而当见到安妮的刹那，
I think I've seen her before.
没有任何证据支撑，可尼克却一眼认定女孩就是那个用文字传递思念的人。他的目光紧紧跟随，看着女孩走向约会对象，看着他们有说有笑。期间，男人起身去厕所，安妮抓住这短暂的空档，将约会的点滴都倾诉给男友时，收到信息的尼克更加笃定，他就是自己要找的人。可看着女孩和约会对象情投意合的离开，尼克满脸醋意，却不敢上前相认。他怕自己的唐突会让这份特殊的连接就此中断，也因害怕被伤害，没有勇气开始一段新的恋情。但很快事情就出现了转机。第二天，尼克来给席琳做专访，然而没说几句话，席琳就判断出他现在为情所困，因为当初采访时还对着手机笑的他，现在眼神空洞，像一滩烂泥。
Sit up straight. Sit up straight. Come on, man. You're with Celine Dion.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Underwear. Do you have someone in your life right now?
I think I might have feelings for someone I've never met.
借着这个机会，尼克将一切全盘托出，带着过来人的笃定。席琳安慰说应该主动出击，她自己当初不顾所有人的反对，嫁给大她26岁的经纪人，但事实证明她的选择是对的。所以歌词里爱情真的需要勇气，从来不是说说而已。尼克重重点了点头，可等他出去准备勇敢地迈出第一步时，却收到了安妮的信息。原来昨晚的约会竟是一场糟糕的经历。那个猴急的男人在离开后就对她动手动脚，被拒绝后立马就在社交软件上聊其他的小姑娘，简直是名副其实的海王。安妮愤怒地把他赶下车，心里却越来越难以忘怀男友的好。她听着两人以前经常听的歌曲，指尖划过过往的照片与记录，翻看着那些充满回忆的点点滴滴。当目光落在男友的画像和一张彩虹糖纸时，无尽的失落涌上心头。她恨自己不争气，恨自己忘不掉。情绪失控的她将手上的笔记狠狠扔出，恰好砸断了正在播放歌曲的胶片。日复一日的倾诉，本想缓解心中的思念，却不料让这份牵挂越发浓烈。从这天起，那些曾如暖流般涌入屏幕的短信彻底没了踪迹，但尼克却像是丢了魂，指尖总会不自觉滑向手机，解锁、亮起又按下，重复的动作里藏着难以言说的期盼。时间在等待中被拉得漫长，而尼克心中的念头却越发清晰。他多想亲口告诉那个和自己一样困在回忆里的女孩，你的思念有人听见，你的挣扎有人懂的。死党看他整天魂不守舍，抢走了他的手机。
Billy, give it back.
No. Okay, you need to get over this. This is not healthy. Just give it to me. Billy. No.
Billy, give me the phone.
No.
Billy, just give me the phone.
No, don't.
Billy,
No. Lisa, call HR. No, guys, just calm down, okay? Just calm down. Just breathe.
短信上说这里没有让人气馁的话语，只有喜悦和期望。一旁的女同事说这是格鲁克歌剧里的台词，现在正在剧场上映。一想到安妮很可能会到现场观看，尼克当即决定去守株待兔。
If she does, you still won't know when.
I'll just keep going until she shows up.
尼克来到剧场，一场接一场的寻找等待，直到重复第11次时，他终于看见那道魂牵梦绕的身影。四目相对的刹那，安妮心里竟泛起宿命般的熟悉。她轻声问
Do I know you?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, everyone starts as strangers. I don't know a lot of people.
Okay.
I mean, we both like comfortable footwear.
No.
两人脚步都不自觉放慢，谁都不愿意先说出再见。尼克鼓起勇气问安妮要了号码，说以后有时间一起讨论歌剧。
I'm Rob Burns.
Hi, Rob Burns. I'm Mira Ray.
Hi.
Hi. Well, I guess we're not strangers anymore.
他们依依不舍的告别，空气中弥漫着未说尽的期待。当晚，尼克迫不及待地搜索安妮名字，才知道她是给儿童书配画的画家。通过社交账号，他看见了安妮口中的男友，也终于读懂了那些短信背后藏着的深情与伤痛。这时，手机屏幕再次亮起。第二天，尼克兴奋地跟同事们分享这份奇遇，整个人的精气神大变了样。不料这时安妮却打来了电话，尼克瞬间紧张到不知所措，却不知电话那头的安妮同样在房间里来回踱步，一旁的妹妹不断地加油打气。
Answer the phone.
Answer the
Pick it up. Pick it
phone
up. Pick up the
now.
phone. I got the phone. Come on. Come on.
Phone.
This is unbearable. Yo.
Hi.
Oh yeah. Hey. Hey.
两人东拉西扯，不是吃了吗？就是在干嘛？完全聊不到点子上。同事们恨铁不成钢，没办法把约会写在纸上。尼克才知道约人家出来吃饭，郎情妾意的两人很快开始了第一次约会，却默契的像认识了很久的老友。他们穿着同样的球鞋，连开口时的语气都一模一样。
So,
Was it okay to
wait.
find?
No,
Did it take
how
you long?
long?
You
go ahead, please. Just go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I was looking forward to this. I just felt like last night at the opera I knew you or something.
安妮先一步表达了自己的心意，反倒把尼克到嘴边的话堵了回去。她慌乱地躲进厕所，本想趁机坦白短信的秘密，却又怕真相大白后失去这段感情。最终，她还是决定暂时隐瞒。殊不知，这个行为差点让两人的关系破裂。食物虽然只是简单的汉堡，可他们却吃得格外开心。饭后散步时，晚风里飘着止不住的欢声笑语，两人终于敞开心扉，分享起心底的秘密。安妮轻声说起那个在意外中离开的爱人，尼克也坦诚了未婚妻在订婚当天转身离去的伤痛。两个被困在回忆里的伤心人，在这孤独的夜晚牵着彼此，从天南聊到地北，从夜晚聊到晨光微亮，仿佛有说不完的话题。也就在这时，
I like you.
I like you too.
他们在公园里确定了关系，当晚就开始了第二次约会。只是两人厨艺实在不敢恭维，做出的食物不尽人意，但这并不能影响他们心中的甜蜜。或许太久都没如此轻松惬意。安妮竟窝在沙发上沉沉睡去，尼克温柔地将她抱到床上，自己则准备在客厅里对付一宿。第二天，安妮醒来时发现尼克并没有趁人之危，不由得让她对这个男人再次高看一眼。可出来却看到尼克正在和妹妹吃早餐，曾经的一幕幕突然涌上心头。她借口跑步匆忙逃离了这里，躲进男友的车上痛哭流涕。当心的温柔靠近时，对过去的忠诚让她陷入了撕裂般的挣扎。尼克明白这种感受，不知道怎么办的他又来求助大明星席琳。
She's still completely stuck on her former boyfriend. And he's dead.
This is a big problem. What is her name?
Mira Ray.
The Mirare who writes the Caterpillar books.
Oh, you've read them?
I have 3 children, of course I read them. They're amazing.
这时，助理拿来一副演唱会宣传海报，席琳扫过一眼便皱起眉头，显然对设计并不满意。但一个想法却在尼克脑海中浮现。很快，安妮就接到了大明星的电话。起初，他以为是骗子，直到听见那标志性的温柔嗓音，才敢相信大明星真的看中了他的才华，邀请他设计演唱会海报。工作有了新的转机，安妮也下定决心改变自己。她第一时间约见尼克，既为那天的匆忙逃离道歉，也分享了工作上的喜讯。她从包里拿出2罐香槟，眼中闪烁着久违的光芒。
What are we celebrating?
Change.
Also, I thought this might be a good time to figure out what type of person you are.
阳光洒在篮球场，两人像孩子般奔跑欢笑。玩了一会，安妮觉得有些不尽兴，她提议和尼克比赛。
Well, if I win,
Uh-huh.
we go back to your place,
Uh-huh.
and I get to have my way with you.
And if I win?
I have to cook for you again.
Mm-hmm.
积攒已久的情愫彻底爆发。那个夜晚，他们在温柔的月色里确认了彼此的心意。然而甜蜜的余温还未散去，安妮无意间的一瞥，却发现了尼克电脑里全是自己发送的短信。安妮满脸不可置信，她颤抖着拿出手机，拨通了那个刻在心底的号码。就听到电话铃声在几步之外响起，所有的默契、共鸣与心动瞬间被巨大的震惊与困惑吞噬。他拿起包就准备离开，尼克慌忙上前解释，可此时的安妮满心都是愤怒与失望。
Ida, those are both terrible choices. But I was afraid you'd stop talking to me if you knew the truth. But Mira, my feelings for you are so real.
Took John away from me.
I didn't take him away from you. He's gone. John is gone.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to find out like this. I wanted to tell you before.
Before what? Before you slept with me. If you have any decency, you'll erase my number and never call me again.
Mira,
Goodbye, Rob. Have a good life.
自这天起，两人陷入了冷战。明明思念如潮水般在心底反复翻涌，可尼克每次点开聊天框，道歉的短信写了又删，终究还是困在草稿箱里。为了让他看到自己的诚意，也为了得到原谅，尼克利用职务之便，将采访席琳的报道写成了表白信。安妮本想置之不理，可妹妹却捧着手机，一字一句地读给他听。
I know love is real, because I've fallen in love with you. And if you can find it in your heart to forgive me, I promise I'll do everything I can to earn your trust back. Because a new day has come for me, Mira. Where it was dark, now it's light. Where there was pain, now there's joy. Where there was weakness, I found my strength. And I'm not afraid to tell the world. I've been touched by an angel with love. Meet me tonight at the place where I learn to hear the music again.
Please give this another chance. Please give me another chance.
安妮不自觉红了眼眶。这时席琳打来了电话，讲了关于自己和丈夫的故事。曾经她很想和一个男歌手合唱，但丈夫骗她说对方没有答应。后来才知道，丈夫是因为吃醋撒了谎，两人大吵了一架。最后丈夫用洗一辈子碗来换取了她的原谅。席琳想告诉安妮的是，谎言或许会带来短暂的误解，但只要内核是真诚的，就能在沟通中被化解，甚至成为关系里温暖的回忆。当晚，安妮仿佛见到了去世的前男友，她穿着她最熟悉的那件毛衣，笑容和记忆里一样温柔，连眼角的细纹都清晰得像昨天才见过。安妮哽咽着开口，将这段时间的委屈、思念与挣扎一股脑地倾诉出来。
I miss you so much.
I miss you. But you know I want you to fly, right?
话音落下，男友的身影已经消散。安妮望着空荡荡的房间，眼泪滑落，却带着释然。她摘下戒指与过去和解，带着爱与回忆，勇敢回应眼前的温暖。
I have a few conditions, Rob.
Of course.
First of all, no more lying. Never.
I won't. Ever, ever, ever again.
I'll always love John.
I know.
I don't know how this grief will change over time, but it's always going to be a part of me.
I understand.
Not just you. No. And I appreciate it so much.
Anything else?
You're gonna have to learn how to cook, because I can't.
I'll sign up for lessons right away.
Celine said you need to do the dishes.
Of course. Anything Celine says. Anything more?
Kiss me.
Okay.
他们没有忘记心里的人，却在彼此的共鸣里找到了新的出口。安妮依然记得男友的气息，却能摘下戒指，一步步走向新生。尼克依然带着被背叛的伤痕，却敢再次伸出手拥抱未知的可能。他们的记得里没有了不甘的波澜，只剩下对过往的温柔尊重。他们的忘不掉中没有了进步的加速，只剩下支撑前行的力量。或许每个人心底都藏着一个人，他可能是某段青春里的白月光，是某场遗憾中的意难平，是某段岁月里的刻骨铭心，是明知不可能却还念念不忘，是明知没有结果却仍心存幻想。但人生终究还是要向前走，有些人只适合留在回忆里，有些事只能封存在故事中。放不下的人，就让他住在心底最柔软的地方，不去打扰，也不再纠缠。学会接受，学会与过去和解，这或许就是对过往最好的告别，也是对自己最温柔的成全。